Hey everyone, hope you're doing well. Today I wanted to talk about how our definitions of beauty are they're neurotically standardized, if that makes sense. I really, sometimes even when I rant, I can't fully express everything that's on my mind because there's so many different facets to what I actually think about. And I just have to like distill bits and pieces into it. Even if I write it down, okay, yeah, that may be a bit better. But let's say, for example, right, to live in a society, and I think this is so relevant nowadays, to live in a society, there has to be some level of conformity, right? That is like one of the central factors in a society is conformity, along whatever lines you might want it to conform to. Because the society itself only exists if you as a group decide that the society exists. And the standards you set in that society only work if all of you agree to it. But if some of you don't agree to it and most of you do, the rest just have to conform to it. When agreement, and that's such a huge fallacy of democracy. If there's a group of four people and you're in a group of four people and three of them vote to kill you or eat you, I mean, yeah, the only thing that really prevents that is the law, right? In the absence of the law, is it any less of a democracy, right? The more you start looking into why certain people are allowed to get away with certain things that the rest of us cannot. There's just so many plot holes. How the fuck does reality have plot holes, man? What the fuck? In any case, I think the beauty standard is one of them. One thing this like whole SJW discourse has, at least they've brought up certain topics, but they've given the most stone-headed, rock-filled, brain-filled, like just brain-filled with rocks type of interpretation on it. And that's the beauty standard and the halo effect. The halo effect is essentially a an attractive looking person uh creates this like implicit sense of goodness about them, right? We think attractive people are the best people. Literally. That's how these like tabloid magazines have run the top 10 sexiest men or top 10 sexiest women for such a long time. Like that was just something like even if you weren't paying attention to, you knew like it was gonna be either Brad Pitt or some actor or something like that, right? Nowadays I don't really see it as much. I mean, the only reason I ever even saw a lot of those things is because my mom used to watch a lot of them, and we had a lot of those like women's magazines and stuff like that in the house. Nowadays you don't really hear too much of it unless of course you still live in a house where that is like a big thing to follow. And when you have that type of halo effect on people, you can literally get away with any fucking thing you want. Anything you want. And I know you guys have seen this mugshot before. He's literally called Prison Bay. Prison fucking Bay. And this guy, I remember all the way back, like it was 2015 or 2014. He was literally going viral just for having like the best mugshot in human history, right? Congrats to him. And here's the funny thing. He had women he had women advocating on his behalf to free him. Women that will never meet him, never be anywhere close to him, and yet they were advocating for his freedom. I think he was arrested on like gun charges or weapons charges or something like robbery or some shit like that, right? And he was a gang member as well. So he's not an upstanding member of society, to say the least. And yet, just because he was good looking or like exceptionally good looking, he got a pass. He literally got a pass. He got several passes. Dude literally got a like a modeling contract immediately after he was released. And this is a dude who in 2002 was charged with robbery and violently assaulting a 16-year-old boy when he was 18. So robbery and violent assault, like beating like some articles I saw, they said he beat the kid up to a pulp. Basically, he almost beat a kid to death and robbed him at the same time. And that mugshot came out in like 2014 and he was still a gang member. So his patterns of behavior had not changed. And yet, just because he was as good looking as he is, he was just given a clean slate like that. Tens of millions of dollars after traumatizing somebody like a young boy, right? Probably more people, to be honest. I don't know, right? I can't really make that assessment, but at the same time, if he's a gang member, you can only really assume. And the dude just gets. This is the fucking thing about karma. Karma doesn't really exist for most people. Sometimes you might see it happen, but really, it's just one of those lies that, like, oh yeah, they'll get theirs, or, they'll definitely feel it one day. They won't. You're telling me a guy can be a violent fucking criminal and be paid tens of millions of dollars for it? I think he even had like a GoFundMe for his uh his court case. I don't know how much he made. I can't remember. But it's just so weird to me that the there's no there's no ability to there's no ability to reason when something just looks like you have to have it. You can throw out all reason and all morality. And this is why I will continue to say that the law is just for poor people. Maybe for ugly people as well. Poor and ugly people. The law is for poor and ugly people. That's who it's meant to keep under. And I'm laughing, but the thing is, it is true, right? You could be a woman who's born into extreme poverty, but if you look like a runway model, somebody is going to give you that contract at some point. You could literally be a fucking criminal, a violent criminal. Just cause you have the fucking aesthetics, that's enough to get you a clean slate, right? In spite of the victims' families who you fucking traumatized. What kind of karma is that? Seriously, what kind of karma is that? Why do we consider beauty such a virtue in people? And beauty and health, I think, are oftentimes tied as well. If somebody looks beautiful, you just assume they're healthy. You just assume they're good, and you just assume they're like pure or something. What role does karma really do for us in that sense? And more so because they just rolled it was a roll of the dice. It was a roll of the dice. Like they just happened to get, the right numbers, right? You would think that if operating off some assumptions, if somebody should not be persecuted or discriminated against because of how ugly they are, or how maybe they were born with certain congenital defects or some whatever the case, why would it then make sense to reward people for being beautiful? We're sold this lie of, just you have to be, when you're born here, you have to just, put your head down, work hard, and you'll make it. Every time. You'll make it eventually. Just keep working. Don't ever think about quitting because, uh, quitters never win, blah, blah, blah. Just, even if you say like this shit doesn't make sense, or why am I doing this or that, or stop complaining, right? Stop being ungrateful, stop being spoiled brat, stop being blah, blah, blah. And then you have people like this who literally get modeling contracts after being violent criminals. Who's the real dumbass, honestly? Who the fuck is the real dumbass? If you want to succeed in this life, be born rich, first of all. Be born beautiful. If you're born beautiful and rich, oh, you've won. You have fucking won. People will worship you just for existing. Just for existing. And you might even find that in fact, the weird thing is, a lot of the more attractive people tend to be the most insecure because of that very same fact that their position in life has in some way been aided, sometimes in a lot of ways, has been at least in some way aided by their good looks. So if at any moment they're not perceived as good looking, it can destroy their self-esteem very, very easily. So why is it that somebody just has to look good and they can get away and they can say whatever the fuck they want, they can do whatever the fuck they want to anyone and be rewarded for it at the end of the day? And people stupidly believe that, yeah, oh, I was a felon too. Maybe I'll get a modeling contract. Or like, or, God gave me a second chance. Jesus gave me a second chance at like.
Hey, bro, come on now, dog.
Just,
Come on, man.
Come on, man. It really shocks me how there's even another guy. They call this man Chocolate fucking Prison Bay. What the fuck is wrong with people? And the guy has like this same similar kind of like violent past as well. This just feeds into the whole bad boy trope that so many men think that they can replicate. You can't. You can't fucking replicate this. They were born with the looks, and they were born and they developed. They I don't even know. I can't even speak to their upbringing. I don't know, but they've shown evidence of sociopathic traits, right? Where they say they've alleged to do this or that, take them as allegations. I do believe allegations are not condemnations, but at the same time, like, someone's past will speak for themselves, He's literally fucking called Chocolate Prince. Like, how the fuck do you as a man think you're ever gonna compete with a guy like this? Be honest. Would you want to, right? Would you really want to? They said this his rap sheet includes charges of alleged assault on a woman, alleged breaking and entering and resisting an officer, and 2 misdemeanor violations on his parole. And these media outlets don't do any fucking better. They don't. Like, they're like, oh yeah, he might have fucking assaulted somebody, he might have almost beat someone to death, but look at his eyes. God damn it. God damn it. God damn it. Like, oh, but yeah, like there's also uh there's also female prison bays, of course, of course. Like the thing is, men will just be attracted to anything at this point. God damn it. Men will just be attracted to anything, but it's such a weird dynamic where like men do stupid shit, so women think they should be able to do it too. Or I don't know. I don't know. But I mean, this just exposes the contradictions that we all live by. This one is serving a 7-year sentence for first-degree assault. At 19, she was sentenced to prison for stabbing a 17-year-old girl in the neck during a fight. The girl was hospitalized for a collapsed lung. Wow. Oh, but she cried and apologized for the incident. Jesus Christ, man. Like, you know what? Why are we lying to our kids then, right? Why aren't we just telling them, you know what? If you're beautiful, stay beautiful, and you can do whatever the fuck you want in life, and you can get away with it, and you'll be rewarded for it. You will be given modeling contracts. You'll have people thirsting over you, willing to pay your bail, unironically willing to pay your bail for you just because you're sexy. And even though, and mind you, right? All these examples that I've shown, all of them have like a violent backstory. You see what I meant? You see what I meant, right? They all have some element of like a violent past. And here again, society is rewarding the same people that they claim needs to be punished by the law. This shit is so crazy, man. This shit is crazy. Like, why do people pretend like, so what exactly is morality for at this point? Is it just like a social signal or something? Honestly, is it just like a is it just like a fairy tale we all just ascribe to, or what is it? Honestly, if life has taught me one thing, just be born hot. But if you're not hot, please continue to follow the law. Please do not break any laws. Please do not attack anyone or do any kind of illegal activities, right? Just exist as the ugly, broke fuck that you are. Yes, we're all here. We're all enjoying the contradictions of reality, right? Oh, man. Never gets old.